Hi, I've been waiting for you. You've just clicked on the Just Do the Damn Thing podcast, and my name is Angie. Welcome to a brand new episode. If you're joining us again, welcome back. And if you're listening for the first time, welcome. We are so glad that you're here, and I believe you found the right place. Before we get into today's episode, I want to talk a little bit about what this podcast is and is not. I am not a licensed therapist. I am not a counselor. I am here to share my experiences about what I've learned about life and the lessons that came out of trials and tribulations, and how I went from somebody that didn't have a lot of confidence and was always questioning her decisions to someone who decided to really take a hard look at life and come at it from a different angle. And with that said, I wanted to name the fact that you are going to hear my imperfections in my podcasts. I am a human being like everybody else. I am not trying to have a polished, finished, glossy product. I am here to speak to you as a friend. I wish I had something like this that I could have gone to when I was going through hard times. And that is really what this podcast is born out of a desire to help even just one person to overcome challenges that they may have in life and to see life from the lens of possibility and not from the lens of scarcity or lack. I want to empower people to know that they can live the life of their dreams. And with that said, we will get on to the episode. So today, I want you to ask yourself a very important question. Are you the CEO of your own life? Being the CEO of your own life means that you are in control of your life and no one else. Not your parents, not your husband, not your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, not your family members or your friends. There are so many of us that say to ourselves, if I had this life all over again, I would be filling the blank, or I would do filling the blank. Is there a dream that you already know in the pit of your stomach that you want to achieve, but you're scared to go for it? Maybe you want to have a completely different career. Maybe you want to move to another country or travel the world. Maybe you don't want to be in your marriage or your relationship anymore. Whatever it is that you really want for your life, go get a piece of paper and write that dream down. At this moment in time, no one in the world is going to know what you truly want except for you, God, and the universe, or whatever you believe in. So take a moment and go write it down. How does that make you feel? When you wrote down what it is you really want, the thing that you're probably scared to say out loud, even to yourself, does it make you feel that what you want is so impossible or out of reach? Does it make you feel like it's too late? Are you excited? But if you're thinking that your dreams are impossible or out of reach or that you're too late, I am here to tell you that you're not. My hope is that you got excited, but I know from personal experience that often comes later. But now is the time to become the CEO of your own company called your life. Being the CEO simply means that you are the one that's running your life and no one else, period. I want you to let that soak in for a bit. Being the CEO of your life means that your company, which is your life, has a mission and a vision. That's called your life's purpose. I want you to get that pen out again and write down what you think you were truly here to do on earth. And why is that important to you? Here is the example that I wrote for myself. I am here on earth for a reason. I am here to make a difference in the lives of as many people as possible across the world. I am on earth to inspire people to embrace life by looking at it from a different perspective. What are your special gifts? These are often the things that people say you do so well and give you the sense of joy and satisfaction that most other things don't give you. My example is people have always told me that I'm really good at helping others by sharing the mistakes that I have made and the knowledge that I have gained as a result. My friends and family have credited me with giving really good advice from a non-judgmental place. I have always been considered one of the people that you can come to and know that no matter what it is you have going on, you are going to feel supported. I'm not going to judge you, and I'm going to take my time to listen to you, and we're going to work through whatever you're going through together. So, what do you enjoy doing so much that you would do it anyway, even if you were not paid to do it? You see, the thing is, this podcast came out of the idea that the thing that makes me excited, the thing that's giving me a drive to get up in the morning is having meaningful, thought-provoking discussions. And quite honestly, I like talking in general. I could talk for hours and hours and hours. So if I could do any job that I would do for free, it would be this. And it took me a while to figure that out. I also love traveling to other countries and to experience different cultures, the food, the music, the environment. That's what makes me feel full. And I, again, want you to think about what are some things that you feel so passionately about that you would just do them anyway for free. You may already do that. It might be baking. It might be creating websites. It might be flower arranging. It might be organizing trips. Whatever it is for you, I want you to pay close attention to what gives you joy. What are some things you would have to do to make your life happen? Like, what action would you need to take in order to go from where you are now to what you really want to do with your life? Do you even know? Have you thought about that? These are things that I do want you to think about today. In my case, I had to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I had to do a lot of things in order to take a close look at my life. And aside from decluttering the people in my life, which was the first place I started. And if you've heard episode 1, you will know that. If you haven't heard episode 1, please go back and listen. The other thing I had to do, though, is I had to research what I wanted to do. So I knew I wanted to be a motivational speaker, a podcaster, and a life coach. And those ideas did not come to me all at once. They came to me in pieces. But as soon as they popped up in my mind, especially the one about being a podcaster, I quickly pushed it back down because I didn't want to see myself that way. I thought that that was too big of a dream at first. But I decided that I was going to go ahead and I was going to look into what it would take to be a podcaster. And I created a vision board on Pinterest and put all sorts of images of microphones, podcasts, and lots of things that pointed towards the look of the podcast and how I would want it to be set up. I want you to know I had no idea what I was doing. I just put what I thought. And if my friends and family were around, they would tell you that I am horrendous when it comes to technology. It's a running joke. So the fact that I needed to now think about a microphone and equipment and things like that, it was very overwhelming for me. The other thing is, I don't like my voice. I, like most people, don't like to hear my voice being played. But I like talking so much and I like helping people so much that I knew that that is what I really wanted to do. I had to really start seeing myself as a businesswoman. That was really uncomfortable because I was so used to seeing myself as an employee. I had never seen myself as a businesswoman, but I realized that others probably had in my previous jobs because I had been asked to go into leadership, but I'd always made excuses not to be a leader. I didn't want to be in charge of things, and being a leader seemed so arrogant. I just didn't want to have that spotlight on me, and I didn't want people to think that I felt that I was some powerful person telling people what to do. I now know that I needed to expand my mindset. I was thinking of a leader as being this old-fashioned manager micromanaging their staff, and I wanted no part of that. I now know, and I now realize that being a leader is a great way to inspire people towards positive change and impact lives. As is a common theme in my life, I also did not want to upset those around me. I was trying so desperately to disarm everybody around me that may have had an issue with me, my personality, how I am. And quite frankly, I wanted to be liked. In my mind, leaders are not liked. But when I cleared the space and I decluttered my life and I moved to a new location, I had a chance to start with a blank slate. So in my case, I needed to move away. I didn't know how long I was going to be away from where I had been living for 15 years, but I needed to be away and I needed to be around a smaller, tight-knit group of people that aligned with my vision about what I want for my life. We had to have the same sort of things in common and we had to be each other's cheerleaders. So I had to take steps to surround myself with people who were going to help this vision that I had for my life come out of me. And it wasn't a one-way street. I did the same thing for them. So I challenge you to think about this question. What would happen if you took the action that you needed to execute a plan for your dreams? Who would you piss off? Who would be the people in your life that would have something to say about what you really want to do? Who would be talking you out of it or trying to tell you that what you're trying to do is impossible or too late? I want you to take a moment and write down the names of the people that you already have in your mind that I know has already popped in your head because you have a smile on your face now. You know who those people are in your life. Go ahead and write down the names of people in your life that would be pissed off if you executed your dreams. I did not want to piss off my parents, who saw my sister as the leader. I did not want to piss off my colleagues who saw me as the underdog. I did not want to piss off the friends that I had at the time, who I feared would think I had become too big for my boots, as we say in England. I was living in this fear of what other people thought or would think about the decisions I was making in my life. I now know that for me and where I am in life now, that was such a ridiculous mindset, and it didn't serve me. Most of the time, we know what our mission and vision is, We know what our life's purpose is, but we are so scared of what others are going to think that we stay stuck in a bad job, a bad marriage, a country we no longer want to live in, or a constant state of anxiety. We put so many obstacles in our own way of us getting things done, or we allow others in our lives to do so. Being the CEO of your own life means getting out of your own way. It means being a badass. It means telling people what you actually want and don't want in your life anymore. And it means acting upon it. It means standing up for yourself and confronting those in your life who want you to live the life that they find acceptable for you. Being the CEO means being able to make tough decisions and to cut people off who are not going to help you execute your life's purpose. The naysayers, the drama-filled people who are sucking your energy, these people are the ones that are always taking from you, but are never there to uplift you or support you. They have got to go. Being the CEO means starting with a plan for what you want in life and writing it down in a serious, focused way. Maybe it means taking the day off work and going to sit in a coffee shop, or taking yourself away for the weekend. It probably won't take you very long to figure it out once you have some time alone and you allow yourself to get quiet. Recently, I was attending a regular workday at an organisation I work for. We were visited by a man that was there to motivate us to have a great start to the work season. We had to come up with a series of words that described ourselves using character traits. I wrote a few words down, the usual words like compassionate, empathetic, and then this other word kept jumping out at me. I wrote it down and then immediately started to scribble it out. The man was keenly watching me, and finally he bent down to where I was sitting at the front of the room where he was presenting, and he met my eyes with his. Our exchange went a little like this. Read the word that you just crossed out. I sat there, I looked a little on the spot, and I sheepishly said, the word I crossed out was the word disruptor. Why did you cross out that word? He asked. I explained that it was because the word was negative. I looked at him and he had the biggest smile on his face and promptly told me, while some of my colleagues were looking on, watching me, that no, that word disruptor is not negative at all. He then said, I'm guessing that somewhere in your past, you have received messaging from your environment that being a conformist is somehow good and being a disruptor or different is somehow bad. I will venture to guess, he said to me, you've been playing small your whole life. I literally stopped. This man had just told me my entire upbringing, my entire internal voice, that being a conformist is somehow good and being different or a disruptor or going against the grain is somehow bad. And the fact that he said to me, I will venture to guess that you've been playing small your whole life, it was like someone seeing me for the first time, because I had been playing small my whole life. I'd been in the background of my life, busy making myself so unthreatening and focused on being nice. He then said to me, I bet there is something that you really want to do that is burning inside of you. The people in the room, in my view, had just disappeared. And suddenly it was just he and I having our own private conversation in a public setting. I told him that I couldn't say what I really wanted to do because I was at work. And he said, F it. Yes, you can. He said the whole word. F it. Yes, you can. So I nervously looked at him and said, I want to do what you're doing. I want to be a motivational speaker. And so he looked at me and he said, then do it. It was so funny because we were having this conversation in August, and I had written down in February of that same year that I wanted to be an author, life coach, motivational speaker, and podcaster. I mean, I wrote those things thinking that this was pie in the sky. And here he was challenging me to say out loud to him, who is doing one of those very jobs that I wanted to do. There was him challenging me to say this out loud. He smiled, and I decided to take action because that's what CEOs do. They make things happen. So I got up, I got his email address, and the next day, before I even left for work, I decided I was going to write him an email. The email was imperfect, and I told him in the email that it was imperfect. I essentially said to him that I am writing an email as I'm on my way to work to make sure that he didn't forget me. I explained to him that I knew the email was probably filled with spelling and grammatical errors, but that it was so important for me to email him in that moment that I really didn't care. I asked him to meet him for coffee and told him that I needed to get his advice on how I should go about pursuing becoming a motivational speaker. I wanted to know how he did it. So the moment I pressed send, I had butterflies in my stomach. And then I went to feeling ridiculous. I gave up the hope that he was ever going to reply to me after checking my emails 100 times for the next hour. I just felt so ridiculous for putting myself out there. Until that is, he called me back within an hour. He spoke to me on his way to work. He was on his way to his first speaking gig at another organization for the day, but he took time out of his day to call me. He told me the reason why he called me back is because he could tell I was hungry. He agreed to set up another phone call, and we had that phone call a few weeks later where we talked about many things and I got all of my questions answered. But from that entire conversation, I remember these words the most because they were a pinnacle point in my journey. He said, "Do you know the difference between people who do and the people who don't in life?" I said, "No." He said, "I'm going to tell you." He simply said, "The people who do just do. It's that simple." Something in me shifted. I got it. I finally got it. I had to just do the damn thing. Within 8 weeks of hearing these words, I had a name for my company, a business card, website, a podcast, and had given my very first motivational speech, albeit to 3 people. Make sure you are actually the CEO and are in charge of your life. My biggest takeaway from this whole experience is that if you are not the CEO of your life, someone will step into that position for you and take over. They will try to run your life according to what benefits them, not you. You have to take the time to actually think about what you want to do, not what you don't want to do, not what you don't have, not what is going wrong. You spend all of this time, if you're like most people, on social media, talking to your friends, scrolling through your phone, watching your favorite TV shows. But when was the last time you went and sat by yourself and thought about what you actually want in your life and your future? It's time to start being the CEO of your life. It's time to just do the damn thing. And that is the end of episode 2. And I will meet you back here in the same place for episode 3.